Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Know Your Shit podcast, where our knowledge and pride in what we do drives us in the pursuit of excellence. My name is Josh Cadillac, and once again, you're stuck with me in the driver's seat for today's show as we learn how to stop chasing paychecks and learn to start building a business we can be proud of. We do that by talking to some of the most successful people in business to see how they've gotten where they are. We have a great guest for you today, guys, which means it's going to be a great show. And Dr. Florian Ilgen. Florian, great to see you, sir.
So great to having me. Thank you so much. Great to see you again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We Florian and I met after having a conversation for a little bit. I invited him to be on the show because he was just so stinking interesting to talk to. We were having so much fun. So, I think probably the best way, Florian, to start this and get everybody kind of spun up is for you to tell them what it is you do.
Keynote speaker. That's actually how we met. I have a different background. I'm a chemist myself. I did chemistry. I studied chemistry. I decided to do a PhD because without a PhD, you can't be a chemist back home in Germany. So once I finished my PhD in chemistry, I decided to become full-time magician. So this was something
Those two go
exciting.
together perfectly. I mean, perfectly matched, right?
My parents didn't like this idea, but
I can imagine.
meanwhile, they're convinced, and I'm so happy I did that. I'm happy I followed my passion, and this turned into me being a mentalist, being a hypnotist, and ending up in the keynote industry, which is amazing. And of course, I use all those things I learned in the chemistry area when we speak about neurotransmitter, and as well now I use many effects from the mentalism stuff. So some psychology, some science, and of course the motivation to find your own path, go along your own way, and develop what you want to be.
Yeah. And so what took you down the path? I mean, what made you make the jump? I mean, at first chemistry. I mean, I'm trying to get the origin story straight. Like any superhero, you need the origin story. So first chemistry, why chemistry? And then why the turn to magic?
In school, I think this translates into high school. My best subject used to be chemistry, physics, biology. I love those subjects, and it was completely natural. It was easy. I had good marks, good grades, and I knew I would become a scientist. I always loved that, and actually, this was my first passion. So once I started my studies in chemistry, everything was natural. I was supposed to do that, and actually, my plan was once I started my PhD in chemistry, I knew I would work in the chemical or pharmaceutical industry, and before that, something else happened that completely changed my life and mm, the direction I might go for.
Okay. And what was that? I mean, as the drama builds.
I didn't. As a chemist, you have to do during your chemistry studies, you have to do internships, and you could do them back home at your university, which is good but boring. So I decided to do an internship in Australia. I
Mm,
went to the ANU, Australian National University. I did an internship there as a chemist. So I did my chemical reaction in a laboratory, and after that, I've been backpacking. And during those 2 months of backpacking, I met a guy from Canada, and we've been backpacking. We went from hostel to hostel, and he did magic. And in the beginning, I didn't like magic. I've seen many magicians back home, and it's so cheesy, and so I didn't like it. However, this guy, Ian, his name is Ian Yell. This guy was so entertaining and so captivating that I was captivated, and I told myself, I'm a logical guy. I'm a chemist. I wanted to figure out how did he do that. He didn't reveal any of his effects. He told me nothing, which made me go crazy.
pissed you off. Yeah.
Once I got back to Munich, I got myself some magic books, magic DVDs, and I started learning magic. This is how it all started. Yeah.
All right, gotcha. So it went from solving chemical puzzles and problems to now. So when faced with a puzzle or a problem, this is what gets the wheels going for you. All right. So I got to ask, what do you like best about it? What's the thing that really makes it for you, makes it go?
About what?
Well, I'd say magic, and now obviously where you are now, which is keynoting.
What Actually, I was asking myself this question as well. Why did I become a chemist, then a mentalist, a magician, hypnotist, keynote speaker? And there's a red line, one connector, one
Mhm.
chain that connects all those entities, all those areas of life, or what you could do, and it's always passion. I always did things I was or am passionate about, and I'm trying many different things. I tried hypnosis. This was really interesting. I hypnotized people. They couldn't remember their names anymore. They were drinking water that got drunk from tap water, and this was interesting, but it didn't fully catch me and it didn't fully resonate with me. So I let it be, and everything is fine. I'm still a chemist. I do experiments in life. I try to figure out what do I like. So I'm exploring. Once I find something, I'm focusing, double down on that, and whatever I do with passion or I let go.
Yeah, why do it? No, life's too short to half-ass. I totally agree with that, man. So that's the good part. That's the part you like best. What's the toughest part? Now, as a keynote, what's the toughest part of what you do? The part you like least?
Acquisition.
Yeah,
Acquisition, getting leads. I don't like that. I
yeah.
tried to do it as a magician. Like I called people. I
Hmm.
know in the States this is much more common to call and to do outreach and to do cold calls. I tried it. For me, it didn't work then. I will start to do. I have to do it again. What I like most is pull marketing. So they would find me. So this
Mm.
is how I usually get clients. They would find me. So I think acquisition, outreach, what else? Yeah, organizing stuff, but like the bookkeeping and stuff like that. But meanwhile, I have people for that. So in the beginning, I had to do it myself, and I did
Yep.
not like it at all. Not at all.
Always good to give that kind of stuff to somebody else. If you hate it, give it to somebody who loves it, because there are people that love it, make them happy, makes you happy. It's a win for everybody. So, the podcast is called Know Your Shit. And so that's kind of, as a keynote speaker, there's got to be a thing, the thing that you talk about, the thing that you know well that has this. What would you say? What is the shit you know that makes you good, makes you the guy to listen to?
From my past, I combined all those things, and I have the theory that because there's so many keynote speeches, so many approaches, and we listen to things over and over again, and we all know we have to change in some ways, and we all know the velocity of change is becoming bigger, and everything's getting faster, and we know that. We do know that, and we've listened to that over and over again. And like with Ian the magician, I mean, I've seen magicians before, but somehow it struck me once I saw him. Um, my theory is if if an audience, if someone wants to adopt a new methodology, a new tool, this person has to be there must be a striking moment, something really special, a epiphany, a something that makes that makes it click. So my approach is my combination in my talk is I have a very strong entertaining component. Like I do a lot of interactions, which I know from the mentalism part. Like I use psychological effects, so they're baffled, they're astonished. So there's this wow effect. They're curious. On the other hand, I'm still a PhD in chemistry, so I know what's happening on our brain on a bio neurochemical basis. So we speak about dopamine, adrenaline. Like this, I establish trust, and once I've created curiosity, at the same time established trust, they know, okay, funny guy, I like him. Oh, I can trust him as well. Then and only then I can motivate them to get out of a comfort zone, to try new things, to feel this fearless curiosity again, like we had when we were kids. So this combination of entertainment, science, and motivation, which completely reflects my past. The way I got here, this is what I put and condense into a talk, and that's what I call it as my secret sauce.
Love it, man. By the way, everybody listening that knows me, I did not pay him anything to hit us with the credibility and trust, but literally my model is rapport, credibility, and trust on sales. You know, you want them to like you. They got to know that you know what the hell you're talking about, and they got to know that you're going to use what you know to help them. If they know those three things, people will buy from you. So it's interesting you chose those words, not me. Yet they're ones that I'm always saying all the time.
I was I was just looking back because every one of us, we have to do our positioning. Yeah, you have to get a crystal clear positioning, what makes you different, and so on and so forth. And I mean, you can make up things, or you look back into your past. Why did you get here? How did you come here? What is your past? What are you made of? And so to me, it was logical to do the entertainment part because I
Sure.
loved it. I still
Yeah.
love it. I still do experiments in my life. I'm still a scientist. I'm still sort of a chemist. And and then of course my way, the path I chose is not the most common path, and most people, especially in Germany, would consider me crazy after finishing a PhD in chemistry to become full-time magician. But that was what was
Yeah.
exciting to me, and I want to give people this idea. It doesn't have to be or sound good to other people. You must feel comfortable. It must feel right and good for you, and you'll make a way to make money, to inspire other people, and to leave to leave a trace.
Yeah. Absolutely. You've kind of talked about your journey a bit. I want to talk about a particular waypoint on the journey that every entrepreneur I've ever talked to always has this point at some point. And that's kind of a rock bottom moment, a moment where, like it's got to change from here. Where was that for you?
mm, I had twice such an event. The more important one was COVID, because I had only one business. I only had then I don't do mentalism shows anymore. I focus on keynote speeches, but they include the entertainment part. So then back in COVID, I had my mentalism shows and my keynote speeches. And from one day to the other, my business collapsed. We
Yeah.
had back home in Germany, we had in November and December in 2020, no company was allowed to host events. So
Yeah.
they were forbidden to have events. So I couldn't perform, and my business, my income plummeted drastically. And in the beginning, I was very optimistic. In general, I'm a very optimistic person. So I thought it's just a question of 2 or 3 or maybe 4 months until I realized, oh my gosh, this is continuing, and it's going back and forth, and there are waves and new laws, and of course we had subsidies, and there was help there, financial
Yeah. Yeah.
help, but I realized even if I don't fuck up, I could be fucked up externally. So this was new to me, and actually I do remember I attended Tony Robbins' Business Mastery in Miami, Miami Beach, and this was in February, no, actually January 2020. And we talked about different scenarios. And one scenario was the economy could collapse. It was like the economy won't collapse. It just happened in March.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just struck. So my business dropped by 70 to 80%, I guess. I did some virtual uh, presentations, but um, I never connected with them.
Yeah.
I love the
It's
stage.
hard.
I love to get the people involved, and I want their attention. I want My goal is no one pulls out their mobile phones in my talk. And when I'm on stage, I can, by modulating my voice and pausing and stuff like that, all those things, you can orchestrate everything. I love it. It's a show, actually. It basically is a show. So I did virtual presentation, but it's different. It's like if you like gin and tonic, it's a gin and tonic without alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you. It's the Zoom presentations are soul crushing.
It's
You're talking to a guy that's done lots and lots of. I mean, that was COVID kept me very busy, but me and this chair spent a lot of time together from 8 in the morning till 5 at night doing those bad boys, and it is exhausting. It really, really is.
I mean, it taught us many lessons to have several income streams, to be flexible, to be, well, I give talks about change. So I had to think about something new, which I did. I What I did then, which I tried it at least. Um, I do a lot of search engine optimization. So people find me when they Google keynote speaker and different keywords. So they would find me. So I taught companies how to be on top of Google. And I created a course, a masterclass, a mentoring, stuff like that. And I tried it. I didn't fully connect with that. So this was helping me getting through the times of COVID. But as I said, I need this passion. I need this fuego. I need this fire. I need this
Yeah, yeah.
connection.
I get it, man. I get it. You got to do the things that make you feel alive. Otherwise, you're just giving pieces of your soul away to for what? I mean, the exchange rate just isn't there. You can't get paid enough for it to make sense to do that.
No,
So,
definitely
so
no.
I, I, I want to ask, obviously, when you go from something that's a little bit more structured, like being a scientist, where usually you're going to work for somebody, there'll be a lab or something like that. Like you'll get that paycheck. To now, you know what? I'm going to go do it on my own. I'm going to run my own business. What was the thing that you weren't expecting that wound up being harder than you thought it would when it came to being in business for yourself?
Thing I didn't expect.
Yeah, the
What
thing
was
you were like,
harder?
yeah, the thing you thought was harder. I mean, it could be as stupid as the bookkeeping. A lot of people say the bookkeeping. Like, I wasn't thinking about how much of a pain in the ass that would be.
I was what was really struggling. Oh yeah, well, yeah. I started the full-time magician when I was 30. And actually, for a full-time magician, I was quite old because I did chemistry, I did my studies and my the PhD. So all the other magicians, they were younger when they started out, when they created their customers, their customer base, and repeated gigs and whatever. So I constantly had the feeling I'm on the autobahn. I'm on the motorway, and I'm like all the magicians are driving on the left hand lane. They're passing by cars, and I want to pass by cars as well. So I had to pass by going on the right of them. Like I constantly felt I have to work more. I have to accelerate this process because I want to have, this is my business now. I want to have instant results. I want more results and I want to grow and I want this and that. So actually what I did not consider that building a business takes time.
Yeah, yeah,
I
it
was
does.
super ambitious. I was impatient as well, and I do remember because I never acquired. I was very lucky with the online marketing. I liked that. I naturally liked that. So this really helped me to get clients and speaking possibilities. Um, I thought everything would be faster. I had very high goals. I did a lot of coaching and mentoring, so I had very high goals, um, very ambitious goals. Sometimes too ambitious, but it cannot be too ambitious. But this helped me. High goals help you to do more, yeah, to
Yeah,
get more shit done.
no,
Of course,
it's
it's
totally
good.
a thing. I mean, I've often said that I think goal setting, these are artificial things that we put in front of us to make us go a little further than we otherwise would. Because, I mean, when you consider how schizophrenic being a human being really is, I mean, all these internal conversations we have with ourselves and how we talk ourselves into and out of things all the time, and like which version of you is winning today. I like to separate into the CEO and the staff. the CEO wants to get everything done, and like the head and the staff is like, yeah, but I want to take a coffee break, and can I watch this episode of whatever on TV? And the alarm clock goes off. Do you get up or do you hit the snooze button? This is the inner monologue that we have. And so goals are that thing that the CEO puts out there to get us to the place where, like, I can't go any. Oh, there's the goal. Oh, I can make that. And you go a little further than you otherwise thought you can. So yeah, no, goal setting it's important. I think that human beings really, really function on hope.
We need it. Yeah. I think I rarely achieved my goals, but it was good that they were there. They were so high. I was that was fantastic at some point. It was too high, but it doesn't matter. Everything worked out because I always told myself, I'm late. I'm late.
Yeah.
I have to
Yeah.
catch up. My gosh, they're in business for 10 years longer than I am, so I have to run. And actually, like 3 years into my business, um, I, I, I felt something because then magic, like card tricks and coin tricks and bills and stuff like that. And I even did, this was amazing. If you would ask me, what do you miss from your magic times? There was one effect I produced, like I did card magic, coin magic, and then out of a sudden, I would ask the audience, I would hold up a red wine glass filled with tap water. I would ask the audience, what do you associate water with? They would say, shower, being hungover. And someone would say life. Ah, okay, who lives in water? Fish. Think of home. Think of any fish you can imagine. And now, if you're watching this podcast, think of a fish, any fish you might imagine, which you have made back home. And some people would say goldfish. So I said, oh, you said goldfish because I had a bunch of like 7, 10 people. It was table magic. And then I picked out the guy or the woman who said goldfish. And I have a slip of paper and I made them write down gold and draw a fish underneath. So it's goldfish. You said goldfish. Okay. No sleeves. I crumbled it up. I said, what do we have to do to make wishes come true? Because you, Peter, you said goldfish, right? You wished a goldfish. Blah, 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 light it. All right, so I've got a lighter. And actually, it's special paper. It's called pyro paper. It burns in a flame without residues. And I threw the flame into this red wine glass with water in it. And suddenly there was a real goldfish in it. So
Hmm.
before that, I did card magic and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
then there
yeah,
was
yeah.
a real animal. And this, like in the beginning, I hope no one is watching who's protecting animal rights.
The goldfish people.
Peter, in the beginning, the fish wouldn't move sometimes because maybe it was shocked. I have no clue. Actually, I always had two. Called them Secret and Roy, of course. And
Of
I
course.
was traveling with two real goldfish, and at the beginning it wouldn't move, and the people were watching, and suddenly the fish started moving, and this freak everything out of them. This was actually I'm missing this effect. I should do it again. And on in during influence, I met another speaker. He speaks about goldfish as well. And then I told him, you have to do this effect. Do the goldfish event, goldfish trick. It's amazing. So actually, I missed that effect. So I love magic, and at some point, actually, it's a loop. Look, I'm closing the loop now. Actually, that's from hypnosis, nested loops. Anyways, I didn't feel the magic with the magic anymore because I was just doing acquisition. I was running. It was so exhausting, and I felt no more connection with magic. And I realized this is a mini burnout, and I didn't feel like I love this. And this rang bells. Luckily, I had professional help with my coaching and everything like this. And I let go of all the doing acquisition of, I had someone starting helping me out with bookkeeping and stuff like that. And I just did card tricks and I just did magic, and suddenly my passion reignited, and
Came back.
my eyes were sparkling again, and I could go on. So this was a massive learning to me. Especially if you have a lot of pressure and you lose this passion, very dangerous. It was mini. It wasn't like a really proper burnout because some people never recover from burnouts.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it was mini. I didn't feel that anymore. So this was a very interesting learning as well. We have to be very aware. Once we lose our passion, once we lose the connection to the beautiful things we do, we have the power to inspire other people. Once we disconnect, alarm bells. We have to take action and change things and consult professional help.
I've often thought that burnout is when you quit working for you because you are sick of your boss's bullshit, and considering you're self-employed, it's very much what happened to you. It sounds like to me is you pushing so hard and working on all these things you hated to do that the part of the work that you like to do got to be such a small part that the reward for the work wasn't sufficient to compensate you for the other things you were asking you to do along the way. It's why you lose the joy of things. There's parts that you like and parts that you don't. And I mean, I think with any business person, I think the goal is to get to where you're doing the parts you like all the time and somebody else is doing all the parts you don't like all the time. So you could just do the parts you like.
That's why we're businessmen. I mean, we can choose, even if you're employed and if you feel I don't connect anymore, I lost my joy, quit your job. I mean, we have to, or ask, talk to people within your company, and you could change the subject of your responsibility. Maybe you change. If they don't want to let you change them and leave.
Yeah. No, good stuff. I know you're an introspective guy, and so I'm anxious to ask you this question because this is kind of a step back from yourself and taking it, kind of turning around and taking a look at yourself to answer this. In the assessment of yourself, kind of how you came wired from the factory, or the things uh, that get you excited. What do you think in your makeup, the way you are, makes you good at what you do?
I love to, like, I'm 47 now. When I talk to people, and I think you resonated. I think that's the reason why we met. I come across younger than I am. And actually in the beginning I was like, this might bother me. Actually, it doesn't. I love to be, sometimes, not always, but sometimes, to be like a kid. I'm curious. I know my shit. I know my structure. I have my structure. I have all the professional scaffold, the template, the wiring. Everything is professional, but around that, the flesh to the bone, at some point, is being like a kid, being curious, being playful, exploring, having joy, and not being fixed onto like railroads, like a fixed road. I want to explore. I want to be like a kid, and sometimes I want to ask stupid questions.
Hmm.
And
There's
yeah,
go-
sorry, go ahead,
I was
please.
going to say there's actually a story of Frank Lloyd Wright, the famous architect, and he's walking with his father or his uncle, and they're walking through the snow, and they get to where they're going, and the uncle says, "Turn around, Frank. I want you to see something." And so he says, "You see my tracks, how I move with purpose in a straight line from where I was going to where I want to be. You see that, Frank? Look at your tracks." And he says, "Your tracks are all over the place, going here, there, and everywhere." And he said, "You see the difference? You understand the difference between us?" And Frank Lloyd Wright said, "That is the moment where I decided I would not miss all the things in life that my uncle did by going in a straight line from point A to point B." And so that's kind of what I hear in what you're saying, that curiosity to go look at the other things, to invest that time. Am I getting that right?
100%. It's a beautiful story, and it's so, to me, it's so true. When we follow what we're supposed to do, we're missing out big times. And as long as we keep being curious, change is much easier. And actually, the quality of life is better.
Sure. No,
As long, as long, I have to, it comes with a condition.
caveat. Yep.
Said that we have to have a professional, efficient working base. Something that is like the rail guards. That's like the what do you call that? The thing that keeps
Guide
you
rails.
go.
Yeah, guide rails. Yeah.
Yeah, but they have to be very wide. They have to be very wide, and we have to be able to go back and forth and to explore. And we have to be professional. We have to have all the means to be professional, efficient. But how we do it, I call it the flash. This must be full of joy, curiosity, and the beautiful things we experienced during our times when we were kids.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think of driving through Montana at times, and you have to get 3 hours from where you are. You could take and make that 3 hour drive, or as you're driving, you can look around and realize you're in one of the most beautiful places on earth. And if you just focus on the road, you missed such a tremendous ride along the way. And so, for me, very much being got to get the next thing done, got to get the next thing done, taking that mental effort of, you got to enjoy the ride along the way, man. You got to take, these are the good moments, and really take them for what they're worth. I think it's an important discipline almost to slow yourself down if if that's not how you're naturally tend to be wired, because otherwise, you get where you're going, but you miss the best parts along the way. What the hell good is that?
Something I've realized and learned is to take your time when you sit somewhere and you eat or have just having a coffee, even just by yourself, and you slow down and you do things purposefully and aware. Like, I'm drinking this coffee now. What does it taste like? What is this? Are the different aromatic molecules and like to perceive in the here and now. This
Yeah,
is
be
amazing.
present. Yeah,
And then even when it's raining, it can be beautiful because usually people say, "Ah, it's raining. What? I don't like that." But actually, it's just water falling from the sky.
absolutely.
It's
It makes
nothing
the
bad
grass happy.
per se.
Yeah, no, it makes the grass happy. It's the circle of life. It's all good things. It makes everything go. I want to ask you this though. In this positivity and all, there's always disappointments that come, right? In when you work business, especially business for yourself, there's the quantity of disappointments that come in, and the frequency of them is very high. There's a lot of setback, a lot of pushback, a lot of rejection, especially early on in your business. How do you mentally manage yourself through that? What's the discipline that keeps you, up and going through these disappointments, unmet expectations, to bravely put on a smile and go do it again?
I love to learn. I'm a kid. I'm still a kid. And at some point, disappointments are not limited to our businesses. We have disappointments with friends, with partners, with family as well. And once they happen, they look disastrous. They look horrible. And when some time passes by, you can be thankful for this person to have taught you a lesson which you will never do again. Something this person helped you to avoid situations in the future so they won't happen again. So, actually, sometimes just to myself, I say thank you. I say thank you. I learned a lesson. Even now, in when I have a keynote speech and something, because I used to be very, very um, perfectionistic,
Sure.
very, a lot, like very structured. And I had my technical writer, and if they wouldn't do the things I want them to do, and I would go nuts. So actually, I became the more years I was on stage, the more relaxed I became. And this helped so much. And even now, although I'm very relaxed, I meditate before every keynote speech, which helps a lot. Actually, that was one of my breakthrough moments for stage performance, to meditate 30 minutes before my presentation. I've been doing this for 8 years now, and it levels my presentation, and it's like an airbag. If something doesn't go the way I want it to, I'm like a monk on stage, and things happen, and I don't care, and I'm having fun, and so that's that. But still, sometimes at some events, things do not work the way I want them to work, and then I just remember that, and I change something in my contract or in the technical writer or whatever. I just fine tune, and I it doesn't bother me. I say thank you. Actually, you're completing me. This event today is making me better. Of course, some so far I was very lucky. All my, except for one, all my clients paid, for example, very good. um I, of course, I had presentations in the beginning, and they were not well received. Of course, that's how it worked. That's you learn from pain. Maybe it's a bad learning, but it's a fast learning. You learn from pain, and usually the pain is, actually, I was about to say the pain is bigger in the beginning. It's not true. I learned from my coaching, it is our goal to increase the quality of our problems. We have to increase the quality of our problems. So we're getting better, so we can cope with bigger problems.
Absolutely.
And what I love to communicate in my change mindset talk. Actually, we have selective memory. Like when we have a challenge, when we're supposed to change, all we have to do is remember a change from the past that looked difficult in the beginning, but once it was implemented, everything was better, and we there was benefit from this change. So I can trick my subconscious mind, my unconscious mind, by just remembering the change from the past and how ugly it looked in the beginning and how horrible it felt, but how beneficial it was for me, for my clients, for whoever was involved. So actually, I can trick my mind by just remembering things from the past, challenges, disappointments, and then we realize it's not that bad. It's we have we have mastered things, similar things in the past already, so it can't be that bad.
Yeah. I mean, give yourself some sense of scaling, I think, is, like scale the actual size of the problem rather than letting that be that emotional response. Emotional responses to things are really dangerous. And it tends to be our natural first go to, is, how do I feel about this? And that's that idea of taking a step back and kind of getting a sense of, hey, what can I learn from this? And I agree with you, like things that maybe would have bothered me at the beginning being on stage. Now, I'll often, like, somebody's cell phone goes off. Like, that's great. I'm like, man, even the cell phone gets excited about this idea, right? And the guy gets embarrassed, turns the phone off. But like it just go with it, like have a good time. It's so nice when you can be up there and be genuinely relaxed, and whatever comes your way, you feel like you're going to be able to handle it, and we're going to be able to make this go.
It's those moments are bright moments. I love them. I
Yeah,
appreciate such improvised moments. And actually, once I told the client, actually, what I say that the sun is coming out. It's amazing. That's why I said bright moment. Um, Once I told the client before my talk that I would like it and love it when things don't go the way I want them to, because then I'm challenged. Because
yeah,
I have three different talks, and the one talk I gave more than 300 times, change mindset. And I love it when, as you said, a phone goes off or goes on, like there's a phone call. Or what I like is when people are late, like they would show up 5 or 10 minutes later, and after I started, and I have different approaches for that. Like
yeah.
the
What do you
mean,
like?
the
Tell me.
mean one
Tell
is the meanest one is I don't say anything. I just stop and I watch him or her.
me.
That's mean. I used to do that. I don't do that anymore. Now I do it in a funny way. I just say, "Oh, sorry, I didn't. I just started because I didn't know when you would show up."
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I like it when bottles tumble
So what
or
what one of my
happen.
absolute faves, especially because one of the classes I have is business building and time management. I'm like, when it's about to start, I said, all right, guys, everybody that's in the room, we know people are going to show up late. And this is the one class there's a good excuse to show up late to, which is the time management class, because obviously you need to be here. So all we're going to do is when they come in, we're just going to look. I'm going to look at you guys, and you're going to know exactly what's going on, right? And every time somebody walks in, I just get quiet, look at everybody. They all look at the guy. They all crack up. They have no idea what's going on. But the other one that I really, really enjoy doing is, all right, guys, that's the secret to life and happiness. Never share that with anyone else. I will never repeat it again. Oh, sorry, you just got here. Like I just said something really important and it's all over with. But yeah, no, man, it's fun to play with those folks a little bit when they come in. It really, really is.
It's good
I
fun.
yeah,
That's what I love, what I like, which virtual presentation don't offer.
yeah,
It's and then actually I thought about AI and how our keynotes changing. Could a robot or AI replace us? And I think people love people. People love this interaction, this irony, this maybe sarcasm, maybe the ability to improvise
sure.
and even to accept and embrace unexpected occurrences during a talk. This is something I learned. Once you accept whatever happens and you just keep on moving, you go on and you don't blame anyone. You just say, "Oh, it's like that." People love
Adapt.
you. They
Yeah,
they defend you.
sure. Sure. No, I think that that's very much true. The idea that you adapt. It's kind of like you go on a date with somebody and things go wrong, and you just stay cool the whole time. No, we'll take it. Like if you're cool at it, if you start getting tense and worked up and nervous, the other person gets all that emotional transference. You just say, "Hey, look, they don't have a reservation. Don't worry. There's this other place we could go to. It's great. Like whatever. We just kind of roll with the punches and have a good time. I think there's a
Actually,
place for that.
that's a super strong parallel because an audience is mirroring how you feel. And during a date, exactly the same happens.
Yeah, emotional
Actually,
transference.
they are mirroring how you feel about yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you feel great about yourself, great chemistry. Same with an audience. Like, actually, that's why I meditate. So I program my subconscious mind.
Hmm. Good stuff. Now that's great. I want to ask a 10,000 foot view question. Kind of, we've been kind of down into the daily grind of how the mind works, but I want to talk about the big goal. What does success look like for you? I know that's probably something that whose definition would have changed with time, but right now, where you are, sitting where you are right now, Florian, what does success look like for you?
Being flexible, being able to travel around the world, giving international keynote speeches everywhere, having different bases locally, like having different flats, different houses, different countries to be able to live in, inspire many people to embrace change and to follow their passion, to do what they want to do, not what they were told to do, and to encourage them to be like kids again and try things and don't fear judgment by other people so they can live a life that inspires them.
I get that, man. I mean, I very much do what I do for the exact same reason. If people's lives are better because I was here, because of something I said or something I did or something I showed them, that's a good use of time. And to have the flexibility to live and enjoy that journey, that's pretty freaking cool. But I want to get to kind of a lightning round, if you don't mind. Just finish up with a few quick questions, just to get your first sort of soundbite take on it, if we can. Um, Looking at, you know, you're never probably going to see or talk to, or there's a good chance you may never see or talk to any of the folks that are listening to this podcast again. If you with the time that you have, what is one tool or something that you would suggest to them that they maybe should invest in or think about?
What kind of tool you mean?
Yeah,
Like
anything that comes to mind.
tool in the like a methodology for life?
Methodology is fine, absolutely. A thing that you think is, with your one shot to talk to folks right now, maybe something that's of yours that you want to offer them, a book, whatever that you like. Very sandboxy question.
My strongest tool, the strongest tool I have, which I fully connect with, which explains my life and why I chose to do the things I did, is this fearless curiosity.
Okay.
Is this I'm curious, I'm of course we're all afraid of an outcome, but once we become fearless, we start becoming unattached. And once we're unattached from the outcome, magic happens actually, and we're like kids again. And actually, this is the magic sauce to change to new things, especially when like now the velocity of speed is drastically increasing. um Fearless curiosity to me is the lever, is the thing, is it's it's so strong
Yeah.
because once we're fearlessly curious, we fully connect with our passion. And once we connect with our passion, our body starts releasing dopamine, which is the hormone of pleasant anticipation. When we're passionate about something, we release dopamine. And the best part about dopamine is it's an antidote, it's a remedy towards adrenaline and noradrenaline. Those two stress hormones are being released when we're afraid of changing. And probably everyone, you and everyone else listening to this podcast, we know once we do something with passion, we're no longer afraid of committing mistakes. When we're really passionate about something, we do not think, oh, what might go wrong? What would the others think about? Kids, when they paint a picture, when they draw a picture, when they do something, when they create something, they're not afraid of what might my parents think about that. When they're really passionate, like in the beginning, when they haven't absorbed too much uh, what do you call this, upbringing, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
taught what to do and what not to do. When we're in the most genuine meaning passionate about something, we're not afraid of committing mistakes. And this is due to the release of dopamine. So when we feel as curious, we have passion, we're passionate, and things are getting easier. Be it change, be it business, be it a date, be it a conversation, be it a negotiation, you name it. It's being unattached or being detached from the outcome makes magic happen.
Love it. I love it. Great line for you there too, as well as the magician in the virtual room. All right. Fast answer on this one. What are you most proud of in business you've accomplished?
Apart from the CSP, which you have as well, congratulations to that.
Congratulations to you, fellow CSP.
um, I'm most proud that I turned my passion into a profitable business, which at the same time inspires other people. So I'm very positive that this will work out in the future.
Love it. Similar question, but a little bit more personal. What are you most proud of in life that you've accomplished?
Again, that I do what I want to do and that I believe in myself and that I do things, even if other people, my parents, friends, all my colleagues, like when I finished the PhD in chemistry, everyone told me you have to work as a chemist. I said, no, no, this is my private, that's my personal decision. So this is repeating itself. I do what I want to do. I'm like a kid again. So and I'm proud of that because that is my life. Yes.
Yeah, it's not easy to do. It's not easy to do. It is an accomplishment. All right. This could be a very tough question, but I got to try to nail you down to one. What's the one book you'd recommend to people? Like, hey, look, if you're going to read anything, you got to read this. What's that book for you?
Was it? Actually, I forgot the name. It was one of my first. It wasn't a book. It was a audiobook. I do remember that. It's from Brian Tracy. Something with seven. The Seven
Seven
Habits.
Habits of Highly Successful People.
I think it was that one. It was the first audiobook I ever listened to, and this was to me eye-opening. This was wow. This was really that was strong. That was really strong. After that, I had business books like Stephen Covey and stuff like that. But this book was the it was my first audiobook, and this was right in the beginning. I remember I was 29. I started my career after I came back home from the laboratory, like where I did my research for my PhD, and I started building, growing my business part time, still doing chemistry, and I was listening to this audiobook, and this was like, wow, I can reach anything. I
Yep.
can, I can. There's no limitation. I love that. I really love that book. I do remember that book. It's oh my gosh, 18 years ago. I listened to the book 18 years ago.
That's actually a book that my father gave me to read as a kid. So you and I are the exact same age. And I read it maybe 10, 15 years before you did, as a like maybe 12, 13 years old. My dad gave it to me to read. So yeah, it was one of the first books, one of the first business. Actually, it is the first business book I'd ever read, and so it was a good one. Similar question, maybe even worse, because I'm a horrible person. You didn't know this about me.
Go
I
ahead.
have to
Go
start.
ahead, please.
Favorite movie of all time? What's the movie if it's on TV? You're not changing the channel. What's that?
Inception. Inception.
Inception. I am not surprised for a mentalist to like that movie.
I
All
watched that movie 16, 17,
right.
18 times. I love the music by Hans Zimmer. I use the music in my mentalism shows. Love
Nice.
the idea to implant a thought into the subconscious mind of the people. I constructed. I did public shows as a mentalist, and I was using this idea. I love that idea. And Inception, actually, sometimes when I have long distance flight, I still watch the movie Inception
You
just for
know,
the
I
music.
I
For
just watched it. I just watched it again for the first time in a very long time, maybe a month ago on a long flight. And I remember thinking, wow, this movie's a lot better than like. I liked it when I first saw it, but like not enough to watch again. It's a really good movie. It really, really is.
it's so strong because if you watch it again, I'm pretty positive I watched it more than 17 times. Whenever I watch it again, I find new things I didn't detect the first time. For example, the girl is called Ariadne, which is Greek mythology. She helped the guy out of the labyrinth, and they were using this red thread then in the mythology. And Ariadne, whenever you see her, she's wearing something red. Watch it
Mm.
again.
Yeah,
Watch it
yeah,
again.
yeah. No, it's good stuff. Good stuff.
Christopher Nolan, his name is Christopher Nolan, right? He is planting small details into this movie. This movie is priceless. It's really good.
Mm.
I love it.
All right. Uh, Almost done here. Famous person from history you'd want to meet if you could.
History, history, or could it be sport? But like, must be that, or could it
No,
be
whatever you want. Could be alive. Whatever you want. Famous person you'd
doesn't
want to meet.
necessarily have to be history. Could be a sports person as well.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Michael Jordan.
All right. Especially after some of the talks that we heard, it's
I
pretty
used
awesome.
I used to play basketball, and when I was like in my teens, adolescence time, he was my role model. He
Okay.
was so when Don. Yeager, wasn't it? Yeah,
Yep.
Don
Yeah,
Yeager
Don Yeager. Yeah.
gave his talk. I was like, oh my god, oh my god.
It
Actually,
was super good.
I love that. Yeah,
Yeah,
Michael Jordan for sure.
absolutely. All right. Similar question, but more personal. What person from your past would you want to sit down with and have lunch with today if you could?
Probably my dad.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. That same answer for me, actually. Um, Last question I have for you. Where can people find you if they want more Dr. Florian Ilgen, if they want to take and book your keynote, if they want to find out more about what you have going on, how can they find you?
Number one is the website, of course, but I'm starting using LinkedIn now. So I'm building, creating content on LinkedIn, and
Hmm.
I'm starting with YouTube. But first and foremost, my website, florianilgen.com, then LinkedIn, and then YouTube, definitely. And I'm writing a new book about change. I've got one book about intuition. So since I'm speaking about change and we need faster change when it comes to AI, I'm writing a new book. So this will be in English because the other one is in German only. So I'm releasing a new book soon about instant change.
Okay, good stuff. Well, this is the instant change that is the end of the show, where I say, Florian, thank you for coming on, brother. It was great meeting you there at NSA and then at Influence and then having you on. I genuinely enjoyed talking to you. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you so much for having me. Great to see you again, and looking forward to see you again soon.
Absolutely. And I want to thank our listeners, guys. You could spend your time anywhere. Thank you for spending your time with us. And as I remind you every time, there's never a good excuse not to know your shit. Till next time.